Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sunita Punjabi, your brain coach. We have been working on stress. Well, we have been working on stress. We've been talking about relieving stress. And one of the things I wanted to cover with you guys today was simple exercises that we can do that can help us with stress. Let's talk a little bit about what stress is. Stress is something that is actually in our thinking. And what it is our thoughts are sort of going without our control, right? And what's happening is the fight or flight system of your body, of your brain especially, is starting to think thoughts to protect you. But the thoughts are very accelerated because it's as if the brain is in panic, right? So if you think about someone that's saying, okay, where's the answer? Where's the answer? I'm looking for an answer. Your brain is looking for an answer. So all of these fragmented pieces of information start to come at you. And just that experience alone of this flood of information can cause you to have more floods of information, and that can cause anxiety. And before you know it, I like to call it mental hijack. It's like someone's got a gun to your head and it's taking your brain away. So, what do we do? How do we stop that cycle of fragmented thoughts, of random panic thoughts, of incomplete thoughts, of irrational thoughts? How do we stop it? It really is a dark place, and it almost feels like you're spiraling downwards into a dark well, a pit. It's a very scary thing to be in. So let's talk about it. First thing, remember, the brain is sort of off trying to find an answer. So thoughts are coming at you. What you need to do is to be able to slip outside your brain. You need to be able to leave the talking that's going on and stand on the other side of it. So the way to do that is first, don't judge the talking. All the thoughts that's going on in your head, don't judge them. Don't make yourself wrong. Because when you make yourself wrong, you add to the talking, you add to the conversation, you add to the anxiety. Now, the way to flip over to another side is to allow yourselves to observe the thoughts that's having and acknowledge that you are the observer of the thought. Now, this sounds really simple, but it's really profound and it's very important. And it's simple, but it's not intuitive. What I mean by that is the brain's natural inclination is to continue this roller coaster ride of thoughts. Your brain's natural inclination is not to stop thinking. Your brain's natural inclination is to get more information. So when you can observe the thought, and very often in my classes, I talk about the observer and the thought, the conversation in your head, right? There's this conversation in your head. And if you take a second, do 30 seconds, just listen to the conversation in your head. If you can listen to the conversation, and if you're saying what conversation, or if you can hear the voice in your head and you say what voice, that's the voice. It's your brain constantly sorting danger, no danger, danger, no danger. Yes, I could. That would, all day long. Does it look like that? Does it, oh, that looks like this one that runs. Those are the thoughts, and they're just going. So the way to first get control is to remember that there's thoughts happening. There's this conversation in your head, right? And you are the observer. Now, if you can observe the conversation, here's what you need to remember. You are not the conversation. If you can observe something outside of yourself, you know you are not that thing because you can observe it. It's so simple, it may not make sense because our brains are so used to not getting this. But when you observe your own thoughts, you should come to the awareness that you are not the thoughts because you can observe them. You are actually the observer. You're not the talking. If you were the thoughts you are having, you would not be able to observe them. It's something like this jacket. See, I'm wearing the jacket, so I can't really look at myself. I can't really look at the jacket. Now, I can take the jacket off and I can observe the jacket, and I know I am not the jacket because I can take it off and I can look at it. Notice that you can look at your thoughts. Just notice and start to understand that you are the observer of the thought. Now, this is the fundamental foundation of what is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is very powerful, and it allows you to have what's called metacognition, which means that you can be above all the thoughts you're having. You can actually stand above them. And in this case, we talked about the observer that stands above the thought. The next thing you can do, after you acknowledge that and observe the thoughts, you can begin to do some exercises that are very simple. One thing you can do is start to notice your breath. We talked about this in another video, but what's really important is to just inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose. Try not to use your mouth, but just notice your breath as it comes in and it gently comes out. You don't need to hold it. If you don't want to, do not hyperventilate though. So if you hold it, I would recommend a count of 4. And there's a great meditation. It's a box and you'll hold for 4 or take in for 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4. Take in for 4. Oh, sorry. Hold for 4. Let's try that again. In for 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4. Hold for 4. Take in for 4. Hold for 4. So it's all 4, 4. So in between the inhale and the exhale, you're going to hold. So hold, in and out. And that's your square. Now, so 4 is a good count for you to take in. 4 is a good count for you to release. So that will help you from not hyperventilating. Once you're paying attention to your breath, that's a great way to get grounded. So we were talking about the two sides, right? There's the conversation that's going on, and there is the observer. So when you can jump into the observer, you can actually also practice not just the breathing, but be intentional. Notice the moment. If you can, go outside and just let your face feel the sun. And if there is no sun, feel the wind. If there isn't a wind, just notice a leaf on a tree or a blade of grass. Just be caught up in that piece of nature. If you cannot access nature, walk around and just notice you're walking. And the way to do that is just to be with the walking. Notice as your foot touches the ground. Feel the ground underneath your shoe. Or even better, if you can take your socks off and your shoes off, obviously, feel the ground under your feet and be really aware of the feeling of the ground under your feet. What this does is it allows your brain to have something else to think about, and the hijacking, the mental noise can slow down. So, for example, drinking some water, feeling the water. Here I have some berries with yogurt, and I'm going to put the berry in my mouth and thinking about the berry and feeling it burst in my mouth. And now feeling, after the burst, the skin of the berry in my mouth and the taste of the berry, which is a little sweet, but a little sour, a little tart. Just really being with it grounds me into my body, and it slows down all of the thoughts that are going on. These are simple steps of meditation. Believe it or not, this is what it is. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as standing outside, walking with your socks off, eating a berry, and really just being with it. These are mindful strategies that are powerful and that can help you stop your monkey mind and that mental hijacking that can cause undue stress and a lot of anxiety. This is your brain coach giving you some simple ways to live your life and create a life by design. If you're interested in this and more videos, like us, join our Facebook. Let's be part of this world where we can actually create our life by design rather than a response or a reaction to the events around us. This is your brain coach signing out.